Thank you, Your Worship, and members of Council for the opportunity to appear as a delegation before you tonight. My topic is the proposed phase development agreement, in short PDA, between the District of Mission and Genstar and Madison. I will focus on the following points. First, is the PDA a good deal for Mission? Second, the process of developing the PDA. Third, the 20-year term of the PDA. Then the use of your power as a council in decisions about the PDA. And finally, I'll offer some suggestions for your consideration. Now, regarding whether or not the PDA is a good deal for Mission and its residents, key questions for me are: does this agreement serve the best interests of the residents and taxpayers of Mission in terms of the potential costs and benefits? If so, on what basis do you make that claim? It would be good for the community to know what criteria you applied and what evidence you have for this. I note in correspondence from Genstar and Madison contained in tonight's agenda package, I think it's on pages 33 to 36, that they are seeking changes to the current PDA. Among other things, they want the district to investigate, and I quote, ways that the financial impact of the PDA on them can be softened, end of quotes. They want zoning and development commitments for at least neighborhood 1 and 2 to be in place before they commit funds to start construction. They want assistance from the district in financing the upfront infrastructure costs. They even want assurances that the district will, if necessary, expropriate third-party lands to allow for their development plans. Brilliant idea. Why don't we use this idea to expropriate the Genstar Madison lands that are crucial for the protection of salmon streams, endangered species, and so on? It is clear that the developers are asking for certainty and confidence that the financial impact of the PDA is viable for them. Fair enough. But is it viable for Mission and its residents? Who is looking out for the certainty and confidence that the developers' profits will not be at the expense of Mission residents and taxpayers? Now, regarding the process of developing the PDA, from the September 29th letters submitted by Genstar and Madison, it is clear that they now want changes made to the PDA. On September 11th, you knew of the changes they were seeking in the PDA as a result of a meeting you had with them. On September 16th, you sent a letter asking them to state their position publicly, and that was good. Yet, you went ahead with an open house focusing on the PDA and other related bylaws on September 25th at the Leisure Center. Fine as well. But did you share with those attending the open house that there were still outstanding complex issues raised by Genstar and Madison which they wanted to be addressed? Unfortunately, I couldn't attend, so I'm asking this in genuine concern. Was it proper procedure to have presented the PDA to the public when you clearly knew there were still outstanding issues between the district and the parties involved in the agreement? Now, considering the issues that Genstar and Madison want addressed in the PDA, do you plan to revise it before the public hearing on October the 21st? Is there sufficient time to revise the PDA, approve it, and then give the public adequate notice of the final content of the PDA before the public hearing on October the 21st? Regarding the 20-year term of the agreement, why are you entering into a PDA that covers a period of 20 years? Were alternative terms considered? In preparing this delegation, I contacted the Office of the Inspector of Municipalities to ask if any 20-year phase development agreements have been approved. The answer was no. There are therefore no examples of 20-year agreements in BC from which district staff can learn. Thus, it is critical that the PDA you are proposing be independently analyzed and assessed by pertinent experts for its potential social, economic, and environmental implications for the District of Mission and its citizens. Regarding the use of your power in decisions about the PDA, in my view, entering into a PDA with Genstar and Madison for 20 years does not show respect for successive District of Mission councils. In essence, you are using your time-limited power in office to usurp the role and responsibility of future councils. If the PDA is such a good deal for Mission, it should be left for the next council to consider. The proposed 20-year PDA is also an oppressive use of power in that it binds the residents of this community and holds them hostage to a future which you cannot guarantee will not be an excessive burden on them, economically and otherwise. Is this the legacy you want to leave? In closing, here are my suggestions for your consideration. Do not enter into a 20-year phase development agreement with any developer. If you consider a PDA with Genstar and Madison to be a wise move, do not rush into a decision about it before the election on November 15. Instead, engage in a meaningful process to develop a PDA that clearly benefits Mission and defer a decision on it to the next council. As I said before, have independent external consultant analyze and assess whatever PDA you approve for its impact on the District of Mission and its residents. And I might add, require the developers to cover these costs. Explain the PDA to the community through a series of presentations and public meetings. The September 29th letters by Genstar and Madison, which are in the package, state that they, and I quote, always appreciate the open and direct dialogue with Mission Council and the community. So, take them up on their offer to dialogue with the community and require them to pay the cost. Seek community opinion about the PDA through a district-wide referendum paid for by Genstar and Madison. Even though the result of such a referendum would not be binding, it will give you an indication of community support or opposition to the agreement. And this could be helpful in your negotiating stance with Genstar and Madison. Finally, if you must have a PDA, please put the interests of the citizens who elected you first. Thank you.